Hello, everyone, and good morning. Thank you for joining us for the CAS 360 Discovery webinar for the month of August. My name is Kajal. I'm the Business Development Manager at BGL Corporate Solutions. I'm excited to show you how CAS 360 can simplify your compliance processes, save time, and amplify your accounting practice here in New Zealand. Before we dive into CAS 360, I will be going over some housekeeping rules. The webinar will be recorded. So if you do have some members of your firm who, would like to attend and wasn't able to make it, that's all good. There will be a webinar recording sent by the end of the week alongside the slide deck that I will be sharing today. So just sit back and get ready for the information that's going to be shared with you today. And don't be afraid to take notes alongside it as well. We also have a Q&A section for those of you who are new to a Zoom webinar setup. So basically in the Q&A section, if I'm going over some topics or features that you would like to know more of, I do have our wonderful panelist heads that have joined me today to support me in answering those questions. So starting off by, we have Jeremy, our CAS 360 business analyst, who is here today to help with questions, alongside our account manager for New Zealand, Ra, who also will be accompanying us today to answer any questions. So I'd love to know what your biggest challenge with company compliance is right now. So what I'm going to be doing is I will be shortly launching a poll. So it should pop up on your screen right now. I'll give you a couple of minutes to go through that. But amongst you doing the poll, I will be starting off with giving you a bit of background on the company that developed CAS 360. So basically, BGL is the company that developed CAS 360. BGL was founded in 1989. We have been in the software industry for over 35 years. We've got over 225 staff members, and our headquarters are based in Melbourne. We are in multiple jurisdictions, so as you know of, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the UK as well. So just to dive into CAS 360, so CAS 360 is a cloud-based software designed to specifically focus on your company's secretarial and compliance management alongside your trust management as well. It's trusted by over 1,000 firms in Australia and New Zealand to basically simplify and automate the tasks that are relevant to those three aspects. So here, CAS 360 offers a few things specific that I would like to kind of highlight. So it's here to automate any type of filing that you're doing with the NZ Companies Office, including your annual returns, changes, and any type of company details within those two relevant categories. Also providing you real-time compliance tracking with reminders and alerts to never miss a deadline, also to access NZ-specific document templates such as your minutes or resolutions and alongside your registrars as well. There's also a centralized dashboard to manage multiple companies and clients easily, which basically essentially helps you integrate in with NZ Companies Office. And so basically things are done in terms of, managing the accuracy and also saving time and reducing the risk of any type of human error and stuff like that. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I will be going over my next slide, but I would also like to be, I'll be looking at the poll questions as well and kind of putting that here as well. Okay, awesome. So thanks for sharing. It's clear that many of you are facing a few similar issues. So I will be catering to those questions that have been answered, and also kind of planning the webinar according to that as well. So every company in registered in New Zealand must meet some strict requirements set by Companies Office, like filing your annual returns, keeping an accurate register, and maintaining your minutes or resolutions for particular meetings. So these tasks can quickly become overwhelming, especially when you've got multiple clients and companies to manage. So the common challenges that we've heard that we've included is the manual data entry that leads to errors, missing some critical filing deadlines, spending countless hours preparing and generating documents, finding that difficulty keeping track of compliance statuses across those multiple entities. So we're basically here to help that and provide you a reliable software to keep on top of everything that's vital at your end. So some key connecting integration partners that we have, maybe you are familiar with a whole bunch of these ones that are the leading accounting softwares in most of your practices, or something that you're trying to implement in the next 6 to 8 months, which is totally fine because we're here to prepare your roadmap to CAS 360 and your journey alongside, amplifying your tech stack as well. So if you're currently got any of these different, platforms, or you're trying to look into them and you'd want to see some specifics on how they work with CAS 360, they do integrate and have their own little special, features and effects that connect with CAS 360. So definitely do get in touch with us to provide you a more specialized kind of demonstration based on these connecting integration partners. So today we will be going over some of the features that you do see on the screen here today. So anything that you see here, these are basically our core features. It's not it's not limited to just these features, but however they are like major highlights that we will be going through and kind of picking and choosing. However, if you don't see anything specific here for you today, definitely do reach out and ask that, that question, because I'm sure there's something there that we can actually offer your firm. Awesome. So we'll head into the demo of CAS 360. So when you log into your CAS 360 account, you will be seeing the company screen, also known as your home screen, alongside your authorized companies under the company name, which you can see here. And what I'm going to go over is Smart Alert. So this is one of our most, one of the core features that was listed there. And you're probably wondering what Smart Alerts are. So we've got 3 different types of Smart Alerts. So we'll start off with the first one, annual return. So what this alert does is it tells you the different statuses of where the annual returns are sitting at the moment, if it's due, if it's upcoming, or if it's not being filed. So what you can basically do to check that status is you can basically just go down, click onto the option. So right now we are using one of our, our firms, which is Pacific Action, and you can basically see that there is a annual returns due. So I can go straight into the annual return screen from the home screen, or I can navigate to the returns screen in the navigation panel if I wish to get more details based on that particular annual return. So what you can do is you can basically look through that in your home screen and get access to that. So secondly, we've got our most unique alert, which is called Health Check. So what Health Check does is it's basically a heart icon that lights up in red if there are any discrepancies in data between your CAS 360 database and your company's office database. So right now, if you've got some director that goes straight into company's office, makes some changes without notifying you, there's no really way for you to gauge that type of information without that transparency or that communication. And you're probably wondering, yes, that's actually happened to me once or twice. And this is basically how you can avoid that with CAS 360. So if you click onto the heart icon, you can see that we've basically done a check this morning at 7:30. And we can see that there's about 3 different categories, and under each category, you can see the total number of mismatches found. So what that basically does is it just gives you an indication of what changes have occurred or what the discrepancies are as well. And later on, during the return screen, when we go through our annual returns, we will be looking at one of these comparison reports to give you a clear indication. Obviously, it is a test account, so this is a bit of an extremist example, but you'll definitely just get the idea of it as well. Thirdly, we've got the compliance alert. This is definitely one of my favorite alerts because it gives you the contact identity document expiry alert, which is very important because a lot of firms right now will be manually updating this, keeping probably a SharePoint record or updating endless Excel spreadsheets and still finding it hard to really get that alert or that response. So what CAS 360 does is if there is like a document expiry, or let's say you've done your compliance review and every, year or 2 years, you're going to be, doing the compliance review again, you do get a 30 days prior alert to gather all those relevant details to again complete the AML framework. So we'll first click on to a basically document expiry alert. And you can see here that we've got a driver's license that's expired for a particular individual for CAS 360-001 Limited. And what you can basically do is go straight to compliance and start to upload a relevant document to basically generate the correct details within that particular individual. Secondly, what you could also do is you can hover over and you can also see when your compliance review is due, so you can actually gather that information. The other 2 ones is basically with the orange icon, you will be able to see multiple outstanding documents. So right now, if there's like a document expiry or there's also more details required, that's pretty much a compliance alert because you've got multiple outstanding things. And then you've also got the blue icon, which is basically if there is some relevant information that's required in terms of completing your identity information, you will be getting that alert as well. So these are quite handy, and that's why they're called our smart alerts, because you do get that transparency and that knowledge as well. Thirdly, what I would like to highlight is labels. So right now, if you do have particular partners that look over certain number of firms or clientele at the moment, you can definitely put their name next to it as well. Use it more internally. Externally, if you have a bit of a categorization for your clientele, like you put them in different subscription models or groups, you can definitely put that down here by simply just clicking on the dotted line and just basically typing in what you would like to type in terms of either a senior accountant name, a partner, or any type of invoicing or billing tags that you would like to put in, or labels, because later on I'll show you how they all generate reports and also how they flow onto each different screen as well. So what you'll see here is basically right now you might be thinking you've got like a larger clientele, and at the moment what you'll be actually seeing is that within that clientele it might be hard for you to hover over things. I totally get it. So what we do here in advanced filters, by just clicking out with the arrow, you can actually click on the status and then also look at the tally of the total numbers according to the different status. So what you would see here with the annual return alert, you can basically see the annual returns that are due, upcoming. So instead of actually hovering over to check a status, totally go into the advanced filters and just basically click here. And you can, since it has my label on here, I can just undo that. And you can see 3 that's already done here. And then also same stuff for the AML CDD compliance alert as well, alongside the health checks too. So you can actually filter through that. Also, when I mentioned by using labels, quite important, especially when you do want particular things to stand out for you in terms of your categorization or the way you deal with your clientele internally. This is definitely something you can use that can actually help you. And by clicking on the star icon, you can also favorite that screen, because since we have multi-user access, this is more personalized to when you log in. This is what you see as your home screen as well, which I have done here when we logged in to CAS 360. Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click onto the return screen because we've been talking about it a bit right now. What you do here is you basically will be able to see the annual returns filters. So right now I can go in here and I can basically filter the month and the year, which I'm going to do. And then the status does actually flow on from the company screen to the return screen as well. So you don't have to worry about flicking between screens because they do provide the same type of information. Alongside your labels also come here as well. So if there's some type of invoicing that you are doing amongst your clientele while sending an annual return, if you do annual like invoicing or billing, that's a great option to put in a filter because you will be seeing those labels here and those prompts. So what I want to show you here that I mentioned earlier is the comparison report. So right now, this is the health check that flows on from the company screen to the return screen. So what we're going to do now is before doing the annual returns process, we're going to export the comparison report. So right now we did have 7 mismatches that we found. So this is a live report that I've just generated right now, as you've seen by clicking onto it. And what you actually see is the CAS 360 database compared to the company's office database. So what you basically do is everything that's in white is basically all matching between 2 databases. But as we scroll down, we will start to see the discrepancies. So right now, CAS 360 is showing this information, but it hasn't flowed on to CAS 360. We might be needing to push that information towards company's office, so then that could reflect. So that would eliminate the mismatches prior to us sending the annual returns. This is a really good report to generate prior to your annual returns because you do save a lot of time in terms of the back and forth. Because you already can get in touch with your client saying, hey, I've got this reflecting here, especially when it is in the case of it might be in company's office and not CAS 360, you can definitely get in touch with them. So in most cases, if I just kind of unfilter this, you can do a bulk annual returns filing within CAS 360, like you can select all of them here. Today's option, we will be using the specific action here today, and I'll simply just click on to prepare document. So make yourself a bit familiar with the screen, this document production screen here, because it's going to be quite of a user-friendly pop-up that's going to be coming. So on the left-hand side, you'll always see the workflow or the type of workflow that you've created. In the middle, you will be seeing the supporting documents. So the supporting documents are there for you to file on to company's office with the relevant workflows, obviously. So in this case, what we're going to be doing is we will just, since the toggle's on to yes for annual returns, we're going to review this summary by clicking onto the dotted line. That's basically there for you to preview the documents before you send them out to your client. Today's example, we will be using FuseSign as our digital signing provider. And I'll just simply click on to yes. And there's also a pen icon in green that has enabled it. If I would like to select onto the cover letter or the solvency resolution, if relevant, I could do so. But in this case, I don't need anything like that. So I'm just going to run with it here. If, let's say, you've got someone internally who would like to do a check prior to you sending it out to the clientele, you can do an internal review prior to sending it out. So you can chuck in your, your partner email address, or like, let's say, a senior accountant email address, just to hover over it. Or if you have like interns and stuff like that, this is really good. Just to do like a double check as well. You're also welcome to upload any supporting documents. You have the option to download, and in this case, we will be sending all. So right now you have the option to CC BCC, just like a normal kind of email address setup that you would have. What I'm doing here is I'm just showing you how easy it is to actually update and change things. Obviously, there is a easy option for you to actually put in your email templates and then select that as you wish to, which might be more beneficial, but I'm just showing you in this example here. We will have our client's first name populate, which would be Ellie in this case, which I'll show you later on. And then we have the option to add in your corporate logo. You want to make it more personalized, like it's being sent out from you, instead of being sent out a CAS, or how quickly we've actually generated all of this, and simply just click on to send. And what that's going to do is it says the annual return document has been prepared. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the document screen, and we're basically going to look at the document we've sent out. So right now here you have Pacific Action annual return document that's basically due at the end of the month. And so you've got a trace number alongside your status. So once we've actually signed this and sent it back, this will be updated to something similar that I've actually prepared yesterday, that you can see at the bottom here. So what that basically does is it just updates the status, even if you're doing like multiple different clients at the same time, you're doing different type of transactions. The global document screen will provide you all those particular details in terms of status, which will be quite beneficial for you. So what we'll do, we'll hop out of CAS 360 and we'll jump into the email address that I've just sent. So I'm going to be the client, and I'm going to act as Ellie. And what happens here is you saw that I updated the subject and the header with 2025 that's come through. We've got that automation of the client's first name, like we mentioned. And now we're going to hit the review document. So this is when the client will be taken into the FuseSign portal. Those of you using FuseSign would be familiar with this step. Those of you who aren't, this is what it actually looks like, and this is how simple it can be. So basically, this is how they would review all the information here in the annual return summary. And if everything obviously looks great, they have the option to either start signing, or they can also reject by actually putting in a comment in the rejection section, which will also come back to CAS 360 and show us. So the two options here is to either type or to draw. I will be just typing in this example, and the bundle has been completed. So once we hop back into CAS 360, we'll take a couple of minutes and the status will be changing, which I'll show you later on. So moving alongside, since today we are using a few examples with Pacific Action, we might as well look through them in terms of what the actual client records are going to show you. How do you make those company changes within CAS 360 and what the process is? So let's go ahead. We're looking at addresses. So you will be familiar with changing a registered office address within CAS 360. There are options to do that alongside all these other different type of addresses that you can add or change. We'll move alongside the offices, and also you have the option to add a officer within CAS 360 by filling in the relevant details which are here, which will populate supporting documents for you. In this case, what we're going to go is we are just going to put a resignation in for a director. And what we'll see is how does CAS 360 actually populate that information for us in this case. So what we will be seeing here is, just give me 2 seconds. We'll just give it a bit of a refresh. Awesome. So we just saw some prepare form here, and then we can basically see all the supporting documents for that particular resignation. So we're going to go through and see what documents have been populated. So firstly, we've got the company change summary. So we've got a resignation for Zara and basically all the relevant company details that are in here alongside the signing lines. We've got the minutes or resolutions. You have the option to plug in what you would like. In this case, we are going to be using minutes, and it basically has the outline of the resignation, which is effective today, which you can see here. And then you've got the Register of Officers, which is pretty important because we've got to keep these records up to date. And it is quite hard to keep them updated, but CAS 360 does that for you. So basically, this is what we can see here, that there's been a resignation on the 5th as we were looking into it. Then you've got the shareholder minutes or resolutions. So what we'll see down here is basically just a breakdown, like we just saw in the minutes before, but this time it's just for shareholders, and then you've got the resignation letter as well. So these are the different steps that you can actually take. And let's say we did a address change, or we added an officer while we were doing this particular process or transaction. This would basically add to your supporting documents pack. So you don't have to send multiple different emails out. You can send everything as a bundle, and that can reach your client. So you don't have to annoy them with 2 to 3 emails. You can always do this as a bundle. We've also got the option to add a director's interest. So you can put in multiple different directors at once. So in this case, we've got 2 here, and you can basically put in the relevant nature of director's interest and basically put in the different values or subject details within that particular director's interest. And what you can also do is you can update or link them as well, which is a really new feature that's come out, which is particularly quite neat, especially if you've got a director for multiple different type of clienteles that you're managing. This is really handy when it comes to that. Now we're moving on to shareholders. So now I'm going to show you how we're going to add to the document pack, like that example, and how to send everything as a one kind of bundle pack if you would wish to. So in this case, we've got a really nice pie chart here. So basically each color you hover over is going to be dedicated to a number of shares alongside the shareholder details. At the bottom, you will be seeing the percentages of the shares, the total number of shares that you can see in the middle. And in the middle, you can basically see the breakdown of everything that we'll go through. So you've got different type of shareholder transactions that you can do here. So you can do a share issue, a share transfer, subdivision consolidation as you wish to. In this example, we are going to be doing a share transfer. So basically going to be using one particular person from this example. We'll basically just plug in here, and we'll do the share transfer. And what I want to show you is the supporting documents for this transaction. So before you can see that we've done a officer resignation, and then now we're doing a share transfer. So on the left-hand side, we're just building on the documents pack, and our supporting documents are being populated as we go. So again, another really important registrar that we have here today. So basically, we're going to scroll down here and we're going to do a transfer out. So we use Tanisha as an example. So we've done a transfer out, and then there will be a transfer in for Ali that we've just done for 10, and we've just done today. So you'll see the relevant dates alongside the breakdown within those particular rows and columns, which you can scroll down and see. And this has all been populated as we're doing the changes or as we're making the relevant changes, like you can see. So that's all our company changes kind of done in like a real whole summary. And now we've got the option to work on our dividends within CAS 360. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add the share type. Cool, just do total shares. And then I'm just going to plug in a random dividend amount that you have plugged in or figured out. So left-hand side, again, you can see that we've got the dividend details, and then also you've got your supporting documents within your CAS 360. So what we'll go through is a few of the documents just so you get a bit of a gist of how we automate everything. So very important, your dividend statements gets populated, and you'll basically scroll down to see what the actual breakdown is based on the dividend statement that had been created through the form. So you can see a pattern within CAS 360. We populate a form for you to complete, and then we create the supporting documents based on the information that you plugged in. So this is a declaration of dividend resolution, another very important document that you can see here, alongside all the other relevant details that you can see. So everything that's toggled on to yes and a dotted line is for previewing. Everything with a pen icon in red means that the digital signing is enabled. If you would like to simply take something out, like let's say, for example, the solvency certificate, you can simply click on no. That also disables the pen line icon. Also, by clicking on it, that basically disables it too. So there are a few options that you can play around with, but as I meant, make yourself familiar with the screen because this is quite repetitive. It's just the supporting documents and the workflow changes. Awesome. Cool. So we'll go into documents. So this is what I wanted to show you as a full circle was the annual returns that we signed off today has actually updated the status while we were doing the other transactions. So we've got the few signed by client on the 5th. So that's basically what we've prepared. Let's go into the attachments and actually see. So these are the documents that were basically signed by few signed. So we'll just go into the preview of this. So you can basically see the breakdown and the audit log as well, alongside the actual document with the signature that you'll see that I plugged in myself and today's date as well. So a very nice integration piece that we have by FuseSign that we've shown today. And we'll wrap up with a compliance side of stuff within your CAS 360. So I'd like to touch base on the compliance framework, so the AML framework. So we'll just click onto CDD due. You've got 7 different steps we'll go through today with your AML frameworks, and this is basically for specific action. So firstly, we've got the nature of business relationship. So now by clicking onto the nature of business relationship, you will be seeing a drop down of quite a few different things that are relevant to business relationship. However, if there is anything that isn't really hitting the category right at your end, you can click on free text. In the free text box, just please put in what the type of business relationship you would like to add in, and simply just drag and drop or upload the supporting document for that business relationship. You have the option to add multiple business relationships as you wish to by just hitting on add another relationship based on the information you have. So source of fund is basically from a client or company view. So this is where we would want to kind of, if a firm would like to put in the source of fund for the clientele as a whole, they can use these options, but you can also do it as an individual point, like if you would like to do it for a director or, as you wish to. So here we basically see the breakdown of the relationships that we have in terms of officers. So you can see all the directors tags here, but you can also in orange see the shareholders and the percentage of shareholdings they actually have within this particular firm. So what you can actually do here, we're going to be using Ellie as an example because we have throughout this anyway. So you basically click on to PEP check, add in your relevant details. Also the same thing with source of funds since they are a director. So you can plug in all the details and upload relevant information. Over here, we are currently, you have the option to put in the identification as well. So you can plug in all the details as you wish to within these particular rows or columns, and then also upload, let's say, for example, the driver's license, or if it is a passport, whatever you're supporting at this point. At the moment, what we are doing is we have our in-house identity verification, which is BGL ID. So you can simply click on to request for ID verification. And what you can basically see here is you can either verify the particular ID for this particular individual. And what you can actually do is you can actually go into your CAS 360 and you can actually send it through your CAS 360. So what you can actually do is basically plug in that relevant information and you will be able to make that particular verification for that individual. So what it actually populates into is basically it goes into three different aspects. So what it does is it basically checks your NZ driver's license against three different databases. So government ID databases, global sanction databases, and AML databases. So there's three different type of checks. So your normal check would be the government ID check, which is $9 NZD, so $9 per person per check. The second one is like an advanced check, so that is $12 per person per check. That includes a PEP check, but also adverse news database check. So what that basically does is it gives you a indication of how to actually look into that particular individual if they were overseas or abroad. That would be when you would actually be looking into that kind of at a later point. And then you've also got your biometrics check as well. So what that basically does is it does a particular check for you in terms of the biometrics. So this is when you would get your clientele involved and you would basically let them kind of scan their NZ driver's license, scan their identity type, and then what you would actually do is you would basically request for a verification check. So this is what it kind of looks like. So it goes from a ID check, advanced check, and biometrics. So with the biometrics, they would basically be scanning their face, scanning their front side of their driver's license, the back side of it as well, and then basically sending that through to you. So you can send all of these different types out of CAS 360, and it's a pay-as-you-go service. And also what it does is it basically initially sends it out to your client 21 days trial in terms of a not a trial, sorry, 21 days of actually sending that link through. So the validation will be for 21 days, and then you'll basically be sending that back into CAS 360, receiving the information and the identity type. So you'll basically receive something like this. You'll receive the indication or level of risk, the status as well, alongside what documents would be were checked as well, and then you can also get a report back in too. So that's everything that you would be able to see. We've got a few kind of system glitches, guys, so please bear with us. And then on the fifth-hand side, we've got the risk assessment as well. So that's the fifth step that you can take. So any type of risk assessment or options that you have, you can actually look through it and basically proceed into that as well. So again, if there is anything, instead of free text, we've got other, so you can plug in the risk assessment that you would like to. Most importantly, we've got the overall risk rating, another drop down that you can see. It goes from low to high. And this is something that you would determine in terms of the risk areas and also the level of CDD required, which is quite cool. Then we've got the notes. So you've got the notes, which you can actually plug in. Again, it is date and kind of referenced by the person who's updated it. So it really nicely actually saves stuff in. So you can put in anything like any type of prompts you would like to, or later on, if you're going to look into this, it's a really good record to keep of, which I would recommend. And then you have the option of the alert to populate. So this is how the alert picks up the date, is when you put in the next review required. So if you are plugging in, let's say, so we've done it for August, yeah. So we're basically gonna, let's say, like 2 years, August 2027, and plug in a date here. Once we click the save button 30 days prior from this date, we will be getting something on the 19th of July, 2027. We will be getting this alert for One Training Limited in this case, and we'll be going from there as well. Perfect. So we'll jump back into our company screen and we will be going into our multiple screen. So with the multiple screen, you can make a number of changes in terms of population of particular things that are quite universal throughout a particular clientele. So let's say if we have a particular person within your clientele, let's say like a director that's had like a contact address change, you don't want to go into every single clientele, make that change. I'm sure some of you are nodding your head at this stage because it can be quite a tedious process. So that's where CAS 360 comes in. That's what the multiple changes screen would be used for. So we'll prepare all those particular documents and you can simply just start preparing all those forms that we've kind of mentioned earlier. And you can probably go in and start to populate those different things there. You've seen a lot of documents that we've produced at this, this particular demo with a lot of minutes, resolutions, registers, and things that have populated itself. So basically here you have the options to basically edit or personalize any type of documentations you would like to. And you can also base it on the different type of clientele that you would like to. So right now we've got the default master option that's set up for you there. That's within your CAS 360, but you do have the options to gain, cater and personalize that as well. And alongside that, you can also make it quite specific to a particular firm. So like if there is a director's minutes or resolutions that you would like to populate every time for, let's say, Pacific Action or whatnot, you can actually do that as well. So you do have the options to choose that once those documents are prepared and populated as well. So we'll quickly go over a trust. So we will be using a unit trust, in this case, an example. Again, our alerts are also going to be flowing on here for compliance alert as well. And then you've also got different type of categories here as well in terms of trust details that you could plug in. So your important dates, your trust deed, which you can actually upload, any type of other details, text details such as your IRD number, your GST number, which tends to kind of be the same. And then you've also got the option to plug in your relationship. So you can actually appoint, like a trustee, an accountant, and all of that kind of stuff that you would like to add here. And that would basically update that side of stuff there as well. So what we can do here is if you want to add a trustee, you can plug in a particular entity name here, and you can actually put that in. So we're going to save that relationship here and prepare the documents for you. So firstly, we have your trustee minutes or resolutions. Again, you can pick which one you want to. A lot of firms could be 100% minutes based or resolution based. That's totally fine. It's whatever kind of floats with you. And you can choose that option. We've got minutes here and we're showing you the breakdown. And then you've got your register of trust relationship. So this is pretty cool because again, you've got the dates and you've got the registers done for you at the same time. So it's nothing you've got to do in two different spaces. It's all done in the one go. Then you've got your unit holders. So quite similar to our shareholder screen with our company. This is a trust, obviously. So it's going to be the unit holders. So different terminology, but quite familiar in terms of how to use it. So again, you've got where you could issue a unit transfer, then you've again got your subdivision consolidation. So quite similar to what we actually plugged in before. So you can basically just do a particular, fill in the form out that CAS populates for you. And then what you do is you get your supporting documents. So in this case, the resolution would update itself. But what I want to actually show you is the unit holder minutes, which is quite new that we've populated now. Again, showing you the breakdown of the transfer that we're making between the parties as well. and then also the registrar of unit holders too. So right now we've actually done a transfer out from Andrew, and then we're going to do a transfer into Bob. So you can see the breakdown affected immediately onto those registers. And then you've got your supporting like unit transfer journal, your certificate, and your transfer form, which are three different important ones as well. We've got your distributions that you can also set out here. So you can add a type of distribution within your CAS 360, which you can see here. And you can put in the amount of distribution that you would want to kind of make at that given point and actually make that. You can save that distribution statement. And then again, we're populating your distribution statements, but you've also got the options to add in your registers if you would like to too. So we'll look at a distribution statement at this given point. So we're just using like a bit of an example in terms of like the numbers and things, but you would know what to obviously plug in. We're just using this just as an example. And then you've got your declaration of distribution resolution, which is all good. And then you've got your listing of distribution paid. So that's one thing that's done there. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we'll move on to our events. You can add any type of asset acquisitions in terms of your asset transactions. You can do a loan to trust. You can do a income transaction, expense transaction. We can do a asset acquisition. So we can do investment, and we can do that. So we can basically plug that in, and then we can put into awesome, and then we can basically just plug in a asset acquisition here. And you can basically see the breakdown. So as soon as you start to add all of this, this is definitely just populated for you. You've got your advanced filters here based on the different type of events, and we'll prepare a form here. So again, we're just adding to the document pack. So we've done the trustee side of staff, we've done the unit transfer, we're doing an asset acquisition. So we're just adding to the document pack at this stage. So we're going to go to trust events because that's something that we want to look into because we've just plugged this in now. And you can see basically what I've done. I've valued the house, and you can see we've got like a holiday home plugged in. Again, you'll be a bit more specific than I have in this example, but that's basically the general kind of outline that we want to show you. Again, your unit holder minutes as well also will be kind of populated alongside everything that we've done here, but it's more so your trust minutes and things like that. Awesome. So again, documents and compliance will be again quite universal to the company side of things, which I won't really touch base on. But what I'll go through is lastly the reports. So you do have a full company register set that you can populate out of CAS 360. So what this basically does is it gives you that full set, but it also gives you individual registers that you want to pull out for a company. Then you've got the trust registers that we've also just gone through and plugged out at the same time. In terms of if it's going to be a family trust, then you have beneficiaries. But you saw in the option of unit holders and stuff, we did populate most of these ones here. With your ID, status that we were looking at, or identity expiry reports, those are the things you can actually pull out. So you don't have to wait for an alert. You can actually filter on like the year end stuff, and you can populate that like every quarter or the beginning of the month. So you can start to pre-plan your workflow basically. And then you've got some relevant company reports like annual return listing report and things like that that will help you out in terms of annual returns alongside the advanced smart filters and things like that. So that would all kind of populate for you guys. And now what we'll do is we'll head back onto the slide deck. Awesome. So basically, you've heard a lot about CAS 360. You've gotten a bit of an idea or glimpse of what the actual software is, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions, but I'm happy to address them. I will be sharing my details at the end. But firstly, I want to go through our client now. So where you're basically seeing all the our CASI mascots and our kind of scattered around the North Island and the South Island. We've got over 100 firms, over 30,000 companies that we're managing currently. Across the APAC, we've got over 4,000 firms and over 1 million companies that we're managing at the moment with CAS 360. We've also got, small, medium, and large businesses that are currently using CAS 360 at the moment. And look, it's kind of, we're always trying to move with the market. You would have seen in the slides earlier that we do fortnightly software updates. So we're always trying to move with the market, be relevant as we can be. And we're also trying to develop that transition between small, medium, and large firms. So we're definitely here to cater. So if you are, if you're new at the moment and you think you have a small clientele, but we're here to amplify that using CAS 360. So it's here to genuinely, allow you to be less tied to a desk and admin focus, but more out there trying to build relationships with your clients, building that rapport and all of that engagement level, other than just doing all this admin hefty work. So we're basically using the software to do all the heavy lifting and providing the automations for you. So here's a few testimonials that you'll see, which will be quite beneficial. Here we have the roadmap to success. So the roadmap to success is basically your journey with us once you start CAS 360. So you will be, starting the journey by meeting your dedicated account manager. His name's Ra Williams. He's also on the webinar today, helping as a panelist. So he is also going to be taking you through the different type of pit stops that will be coming through. So we will basically be doing a handover in terms of myself as the business development manager to your account manager. And again, he'll be taking you through your onboarding sessions. So we will be booking those in. There's about 2 to 3 sessions that you can have. So initial stages, session 1 is more kind of setting up, gearing up, and getting everything ready. Session 2 is starting to kind of plug in workflows as well and starting to understand CAS 360. So we're here for you at every different stage. We're here to take you along. And what we've heard from our clients that we currently have using CAS 360, this process has been super smooth. So I know you might be daunted or kind of burnt out by, using a new software or, trying to come on board with, another software provider and just being like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is an investment, but what is it for? So we're definitely here to take you amongst us and through this journey to smoothen out that process. So you're all kind of sticking around to wonder what the investment is like. So CAS 360 is $20 per company per annum. You have the subscription model of paying annually or monthly. In this investment, you will basically see what will be included is the unlimited trust. So you'll have the trust module, and that includes, your unit trust, family trust, and all the other charitable, and you can kind of name it even in other and stuff like that as well. You've got unlimited user, so you've got the multi-user access and how to kind of navigate around it. You've got the 7 steps AML compliance framework. Obviously, the verification amongst those 3 databases through BGR ID would be the separate pricing that was shown, from ranging from $9 to $12 New Zealand, NZD, and then you've got your regular automated software updates. You've got your free seamless migration, your free onboarding training, like we've mentioned in the roadmap to CAS 360. You've got a dedicated onboarding specialist as well. We've got a no lock-in contracts and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you've got all these options here for you to invest into CAS 360. So don't worry about taking a note about the slide deck and stuff like this, because everything shared here today will be sent out to you later on. So we do believe in ongoing support. So we've got you full speed up into action with CAS 360. Got some multiple different type of platforms for you guys to use. Most importantly, you have the BGL Learning channel. This is again a specific educational 2 to 3 minute video. Trust me, it's not a boring video. It's quite quick, quite prompt. You get what you need, and you can understand that throughout your CAS 360 journey and use it multiple times, because that's what the learning channel is there. It's a library of videos and workflows for you to work through. Then we've got your online help center. It's like your CAS 360 kind of search engine for all your articles, training manuals, FAQs, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's always there for you to promptly access. You don't have to kind of look for anything anywhere. It's within your CAS 360. Then you've got the option of the live support for any type of technical queries or assistance. But then you definitely have your account manager as well in that regards too. And then lastly, you've got your BGL community. You can connect through different forums. And then we also have, user group sessions where we kind of hold it in different type of metro cities. And then we kind of come out to you, and also you can connect with other firms as well. It's very interesting and a educational morning whenever we hold that twice a year. So you'll basically be, provided with a lot of support and a lot of communication throughout your journey and events that we have booked for you as well. So that kind of comes to the end of our webinar today. I want to thank you all. Obviously, it's a lot of information that's obviously been sent out, but I'm happy for you to get in touch with me. So this is my email address and my direct dial. So definitely make a note of that if you have any questions or burning questions that have come about. I'm happy to address them with you and answer any questions that you may have in that meantime. So definitely get in touch with me. But lastly, on behalf of the BGL team in CAS 360, I'd like to thank you guys, and I will be sticking around for a couple of minutes just to see if you have any further questions or any type of wrap up questions for the webinar. Thank you.